Platform streaming live.
It is another episode of Sayith podcast. Thank you all for tuning in with me. And this week in the hot seat behind the mic is Align with Alison. So if you don't know who Alison is, clearly you have not been on your Instagram and doing your homework. And if you don't know who Alison is and you're looking for a relationship or a relationship coach, then stay tuned because this is who we're going to talk to today and kind of get into the nitty gritty of like dating and relationships and how you find that person and have those conversations. Hi, Alison. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, thank you, Karen. I appreciate you. Thank you.
So I always vet everyone that comes on my show. They think I'm podcast bougie, but I probably am. I is. Because I only invite people that I know I want to talk to about something. Mm-hmm. And we talk about relationships a lot on this show, and people being able to, one, find that healthy relationship, two, have that healthy communication, and then three, maintaining that love and respect and understanding and enjoyment throughout their relationship. So can you just tell everybody a little bit about what you do and how you got here?
Yes, absolutely. So it all started back in college. I studied undergrad education at Brooklyn College because I wanted to be a teacher. My mama was a teacher. And I thought that I was going to impact the youth in this very valuable way. And then once I started teaching, I realized that I did not want to do that. However, I wanted to keep the benefits of working for the Department of Education in New York City, the schedule, the summers, right, and still working with kids. So then I transitioned into counseling. So that's when I started like kind of getting towards where I am now. Became a counselor, and also realized that I could have so much more impact if I was in the home. Like if I could backtrack before I have these kids who are fighting in front of me, before I have these kids who are taunting each other on social media, if I could just go back and kind of like fix the parenting situation in the home, then we would be so much better off, right? And then the straw that broke the camel's back was COVID. Because I think a lot of folks like me, especially I come from an immigrant background, a lot of folks like me have been taught, you get you that good city job, that good state job, good federal job, you get your benefits, you get your retirement. And then when COVID hit and the mayor in New York City at the time told us that our jobs were at risk and he was fitting to let go 300,000 people, I said, right, I need to figure out another way to make some money because I cannot rely on Uncle Sam to do it for me. So putting all those pieces together, actually having a conversation with one of my friends as well, I figured out that I think it would be in my best interest to start a business and to get into coaching. Now, relationship coaching is a little bit more specific, right? So how did I choose that specific niche? I was dating a gentleman at maybe 4 years before this time, 4 years before. And he was either unwilling or unable to commit. I don't know which one, and which one doesn't really matter. Let me explain why, if I could go off on a tangent for a second. If anybody's ever ordered Uber Eats or Seamless or any of those, right? And then like 45 minutes, an hour passes, you're like, damn, where's my food? You check the app. And then you get that message on the app that says your order's been canceled. You don't care if it's because they couldn't find any drivers. You don't care if it's because the restaurant closed early. You don't care if it's because they didn't have the food. All you know is you're hungry and you don't have food right now. Right. I don't know if he was unwilling to commit. I don't know if he was unable. I don't know if he was facing trauma. I don't know if he was brighter than me, which is one of my theories, that he saw what I couldn't see. All I know is that he was not able to give me what I wanted. I placed the order. It could not be delivered. Why? Doesn't matter, right? And so after I left that relationship, I had to then create a process that I was going to go through that was going to get me from this heartbreak to where I wanted to be, which was happily married and creating the family that I desired, right? And I was able to create that process for myself. So I'm at a crossroads. One, I know I want to coach. I want to create my own business. I don't want to have to rely on Uncle Sam. And two, I know that I have the experience of being able to go from being in a relationship that was unfruitful to at the time I was engaged to be married to my dream partner, right? So I'm like, aha, I'm going to put two and two together. I'm going to take that expertise and I'm going to start teaching women how to navigate dating successfully so that they could be found by the partner that they deserve.
I love it. So we're going to talk about it because I feel like, first of all, I feel like people do need coaches because I need one. So I know other people need it. Maybe we think we don't. But I think we do. And I love the fact that you're teaching other women, not necessarily just teaching men, or other people can seek out advice from you. I think that's really important. Now, do you think, let's start from the beginning, do you think everyone can find love?
I think that almost everyone, because I do come from a philosophy that man is good, right? So you remember back in college, philosophy 101, like I believe that man is good for the most part. We ain't talking about, those, right, folks?
Right.
But most people are good. And as a result of me believing that most people are good, I do believe that most people are deserving of love.
Right.
Can they find, that might be playing an English game here. Do they have the capability? I don't know. And I think that's why I exist, because there are some people who are lost. They don't know how to navigate dating successfully, especially folks who are divorcees, those who were in long-term committed relationships for years or decades, getting back on this new scene.
Yes.
App,
talk about it.
Who sliding into DMs? What are you talking about? So figuring all those things out is something that is a skill that needs to be taught. Are we deserving? Yes. Do we know how? I don't think so. That's why I'm here.
Well, let's talk about it, because everything that you touched on is me. And yeah, I am divorced. I got married when I was 20, 21, 22 years old, and that was 20 years ago. And so now being back into having to date, having to meet people in a whole different time period with a whole different ways of people connecting is a thing. Like, how do you tell people to deal with that?
So it's a couple of things. Number one, you have to be clear on exactly what you're looking for. So if we're talking about the divorcee who's getting back on the scene, are you trying to rebuild your confidence? Are you trying to have fun? Are you trying to get remarried? Like, what is it that you're looking for in terms of relationship status? Then what are you looking for in this potential partner? If it's just casual, then it's someone who makes you laugh and who's fun. Does it really matter whether or not they want more children? No, because you ain't looking for that. Does it matter if they're extremely financially stable? Once y'all can have fun? No, right? So you have to decide about what you're looking for in a partner. And then you have to get serious about finding it. What I find is that a lot of people are afraid to say with their mouth, say it aloud, right? They're afraid to say what they want because they don't want to fail. So if I say aloud, I'm getting serious about weight loss, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. Then when y'all see me eating burgers, then I'm a joke, right? Versus if I never say I want to lose the weight, if I'm eating a burger, you're not looking at me any kind of way. When people say aloud what they really want, they're held accountable to it. A lot of people are afraid to say, I want to be married or remarried. They'll say, oh, if he just wants to be with me, then that's just enough. It's just papers. Do you really believe that? Or are you saying that because you're afraid to take the risk? Some people say, oh, I want to be the rich auntie. I'm okay if I don't have kids, which I'm sure is the truth for some folks. But for some people, they're just saying that because if they say I'm 39 and I want to have children, they don't want to hear the backlash of, oh, you took too long, or what are you going to do? Freeze your eggs. So we have to be honest about, one, what are we looking for in a relationship? Two, what are we looking for in the person? And three, saying it aloud, making it clear to the universe, to God, to ourselves, to our community, what it is that we want, so that we stay accountable to reaching it.
How does someone stay accountable to what they want, or kind of break down what they want so they can be very specific?
Mm-hmm. Well, one, being honest, right? So as I said, are you just saying, oh, marriage is just a piece of paper because that's what your boyfriend of 10 years keeps saying to you? Or is that something that you actually believe, right? So are you being honest with yourself? After that, write it down. Like, I'm talking about pen and paper, a notebook, not in your notes in your phone. Write down what it is that you want. And again, say it aloud. I'm going to tell my friends I want to lose 20 pounds so that when they see me eating stuff I'm not supposed to eat, they're going to hold me to it. We like to say, oh no, you got to keep stuff private because folks are going to.
Right.
How is a hater going to stop me from losing weight? What they're going to do?
Right.
They're gonna drip the calories on my, like, how is a hater gonna stop me from getting the promotion? How is a hater gonna stop me from getting a next degree? You saying things aloud and putting it out in the atmosphere, no one, if you are a believer, no one has the capability of being able to tamper with that.
That's
you
right.
Say it aloud, it's gonna help your loved ones hold you accountable and help you hold yourself accountable. Because now you're gonna be embarrassed saying all that stuff that you were gonna do and you didn't do it. So it's gonna force your hand.
All right. What about writing things down as far as like what you want from a person? Should you be writing what you, because I pick a bone when people do this, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I'm not the coach, you're the coach. I don't want to write what I want from a person. I want to write what I want from the relationship. And then that person manifests. I think there's a difference between women saying, and also the tangible things, right? Because I've heard women say, well, he got to drive this 2022 car, and he's got to make this amount of money, and he's got to live in this neighborhood or this type of apartment. And I'm at a place where I'm like, I don't really care about those things. I can buy those things. I more care about the quality of the relationship I have versus just the person. So are we writing both, or are we writing one or the other?
Yeah, I tell my clients to write both. So what you want out of the relationship is what the both of you are going to come together to create. And then what you want out of the person. You should be writing both of them down. And the reason why it's valuable to do both is because they are two distinctly different things. What I want out of the relationship requires me. And a lot of the work that I do with people, and they don't like it because it's the medicine in the candy. A lot of the problems that you're having in dating and relationships has to do with you, and not this supposed pool that's full of pee, because you in it too. So are you contributing to the pee? Perhaps. If you are not healed, if you are not working on your traumas, if you are not working on becoming the best version of yourself, all of us are not traumatized. We like to use that terminology in our space, right? The trauma, the healing. I ain't never been through nothing, right? I'm all right, but I'm still not optimized. Like, there are things that I could do to become a better version of myself. I could become a better listener, right? I could be slow to anger. I could be more mindful of my tone. No one's ever done anything to me, but maybe it's my disposition. Maybe it's I have a Caribbean background. It's cultural. Maybe because I'm a New Yorker. There's always work that needs to be done. So how am I showing up in this relationship is what you're writing down. So the function of the relationship. What are our overall goals as a couple? And then secondly is, how does this person show up in the world? Like, who are they as human beings? What are their values? What are their goals? And obviously those things were not obvious, because you'd be surprised. Those things are many times are not in alignment with people. So they'll say, yeah, I want a believer, but when's the last time that you done prayed? When's the last time you read the book? When's the last time you done went to church? Right. And so we have to think logically. If you say that you want a man or who's a believer, or a partner who's a believer, and you want your marriage to be stoked in Christian values, but then your lifestyle's not stoked in that, then why would that man want you? You don't have what he would want.
And it's you're asking for something that you're not giving.
Right. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, we're not talking about, like an exact match. Like, I make $107,000. He has to make 100. Like, I'm not talking about that. But if you want someone who's doing well for themselves financially, why would they date someone who doesn't know how to manage money? Right? You ain't got to be rich, but you got to be reasonable. If he's doing well for himself and he manages money well, he don't want to have to be teaching a 30-something, 40-something, 50-something-year-old partner how to manage either. So you got to be reasonable.
I got it. What do you think some of the most common things are that women are doing wrong in dating and with relationships?
Yeah. So it's two extremes. Either they're not requiring enough, or they're requiring too much. So the not requiring enough, meaning what we talked about earlier, not holding their truths and not expressing their truths out loud. If he just wants to spend good time, I'll just be the good time girl. It's okay. I'll cook and I'll clean, and he won't offer me any value. And it's all right, because his company is enough. Like, just not requiring enough, right? And then the other end is you have this thesis that you've written of all of the behaviors and traits that this partner must have in order for him to be worthy of you. And it's unrealistic if that person does not exist on earth. Or if they do exist, then let's be honest, their pickings are going to be so high quality.
They might not pick you.
They might not pick you. And you can't be mad, because you are very comfortable and okay with rejecting others. So that means you need to be very comfortable and okay with you being rejected as well. Fair is fair.
Wow. Yeah. I think that's a very important piece of this, and understanding who you are and what you're requiring from somebody else. I want to get into the cultural part, because I have a West Indian background, and I know the culture of marriage and relationships. I didn't get any culture on dating, because they never talked to me about dating. How does that affect relationships?
Well, your cultural background is going to feed into every decision that you make. Your career, your health practices, your diet, your picking of a partner, your stick-to-itiveness, how many
Mhm.
children you have. I mean, that feeds and it has an impact on everything that you do. Specifically for Caribbean culture, as I mentioned, I'm Caribbean as well. There's a lot of problematic practices in Caribbean culture.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, one thing that you're gonna find is, to me, what I've noticed in my own family and families of others, a lot of passive aggressiveness. You
Mhm.
have people who are legally married who sleep in different beds on different floors,
Right.
and right,
Yeah, they practically hate each other.
and they practically hate each other.
Yeah.
But either because of their religious beliefs, they don't want to be divorced. Both of them are disgustingly hard-headed. So I'm not giving up the house, and you're not giving up the house. So I guess we just gonna sleep separately. Them feeling obligated to remain some kind of um, role model of sorts to their
Yeah.
children,
It's big
right? And so
shoes.
they stick with it. A lot of adultery that's happening, full-blown families that are
Yeah.
on other islands, right?
I
Like,
was talking to my mom about that because I was like, Jamaican men will have like 3 families and the women cooking dinner for each other. And that's like, okay,
yeah, yep. And then
that's
they'll have a
crazy.
family in Trinidad, and then they'll have a family in St. Lucia. If they're a fisherman, forget it. If they're a tradesman, forget it. Right. And so there's a lot of kind of unhealthy practices. There are some
Mhm.
positive ones. I don't want the Caribbean community who are listening to be like, damn, all y'all doing is talking terribly about the Caribbean culture. I mean, at the value that we attach to education, like, that probably can't be beat around the world. So there are definitely some
Yeah.
positive attributes, but we're talking about relationships today,
Yeah.
and
And
yeah,
I don't think it's limited just to Caribbean. I think there's
yeah,
other places where there a lot of those old school relationship mentalities are still in place. I think religiously, there's a lot of places where those old school mentalities are still in place, and kind of, society has it a certain way, and people kind of just think that that's natural. So that's my next question. How do we break those generational curses in our own relationships and seeking out our own partners?
hmm So we have to again get clear about what we're looking for, right? And what we're looking for in the relationship. So if you said generational curses, that's what we're breaking. So let's write down what is the generational curse that we're going to break. And it
Hmm.
depends on your generational curse, right? So perhaps it is infidelity and having children outside of the marriage. Perhaps for you, it's going to be making sure that your kids don't get it out the mud, and you are going to ensure that you don't kick them out when they turn 18, because that's just what parents do, and that's how it works. You're
Right.
paying for college, and college is saved for. You're buying your kid their first car. What abuses, what a neglect, whatever that might look like for you, is that's you're going to create an environment where that doesn't fester, right?
Right.
And what I always recommend to clients is that you're going to write it in the positive. So you're not going to say, I am going to have a marriage that doesn't have adultery. You're going
Right.
to say, I'm going to find a partner who values faithfulness.
Right.
Same thing, but saying it in a positive way.
Right.
So then when you're writing down what you want, that means you're going to be more inclined to stick to those things, asking the questions around those things, paying attention to the behaviors that are in alignment with those things, so that we are choosing better partners and not so
Hmm.
quick to choose those partners. You get married at 23, even 20 years ago is wild, or 22,
Hmm.
20 years ago is wild. You were so young, you were a baby,
Right.
right? And then
Yeah.
so also encouraging our children to date. That's another thing that in Caribbean culture we don't do.
Yeah, no one ever taught me about dating. No one ever taught me about being a wife. I think I was like, I saw Bridgerton one time, and the girl comes back and she was like, Mom, you taught me to be a mother. You didn't teach me to be a wife.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, snap. Like, it hit me because I was like, no, I feel like I was taught to be a mother, like cook, clean, all that kind of thing, but not to be a wife, not to
Mhm.
be someone that my partner can confide in, because I didn't see that. Not to be someone who's less argumentative and looking for peace. I didn't see that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now that I have, and then I went through my own marriage and divorce, and as much as I blame my husband for certain things, there's other things that I had to reflect on myself. And I was like, damn, I took what I learned and I put it into this relationship, because at 22 and 21, I didn't know any better.
Mhm.
And now at 40 something, I'm like, I don't want to be like that.
Mhm.
So I think that it's really important to understand like where you learn and what you learn, and then what you need to unlearn,
Yes. Well,
right? So with that said, what are some dating tips for someone like me?
mhm. Mhm.
I know a lot of women right now in my circle and on my show that listen. And lots of guys listen, but there's a lot of women on my on my feed and my timelines that I listen to and that message me. And there's quite a few women about my age, a little bit younger, about 40, 35 to 40 years old. And they are, I know so many women right now getting divorced and going through separations and things like that. And then having to regroup and go back out there and kind of start over. What advice do you have for these women?
Yeah. So once you've decided exactly what you're looking for and what you're looking for in terms of status, like, is it casual? Is it a married again? Whatever that might look like, you know what you want out of the partnership. You know what you want out of the partner. You have to put yourself out there. And they'll say, oh, I'm too busy today. Okay, so then you're not serious. And that's okay.
That's what my best friend tells me. She's like, every time you get less busy, you find something else to do so you don't have to date.
Yep. And guess what? And COVID was what put us all on our asses and slowed us down and made us realize that we've been filling the gaps, many of us who are single or in unfulfilling relationships or unhappy relationships, that we've been filling the gaps with everything else, with rooftop parties and hookah and brunch and girls trips and guys trips. And then we realized when we couldn't go anywhere that we were unfulfilled in our own homes, right? You need to go outside. Your husband will not be delivered to you like an Amazon package or like your Uber Eats dinner. It's not going to happen. It's not a pizza box, right? Like, you have to make an effort to put yourself out there. You have to make the time. If you tell me that you don't have any time to date, what you're telling me is that I don't prioritize it. And that's okay. But be honest with yourself and be honest with me, right? So you don't have time to date. Cool. So that means it's not important to you, and we're going to move on and talk about something else. But as long as you keep saying you don't have the time, what the truth is you're not making the time, and you need to make it, or you need to stop saying that you want to be in a relationship, because you don't. You need to go outside, and or you need to be on dating apps. Put yourself out there to be seen and found.
Excellent. So let's get into the dating apps. How do we do that?
The first thing you're going to do is you're going to Google top dating apps in your city. This is a numbers game, right? The more jobs you interview for, the more likely you will find a position. If you are going on these apps that have 50,000, 100,000 people, then good luck, Chuck, to you. You need to be on apps that literally have millions of people on it. One of my favorite apps that's slept on because it's old school is Match. Match is the number one dating app because it's the oldest and it's the most established, has the most profiles. It's going to be the one that wins just by the numbers game. So put yourself in a position where you're Googling blank top apps in blank city. And then you're going to get whatever the ones are that have number one, the most people.
Right.
Then we need to qualify those people. So first we need the people, then we need to qualify them. Well, how are you qualifying them? You are qualifying them with the language that you use. I'm going to give you this one tidbit, Karen, then I'm going to stop here because people pay a lot.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it right after this, like the benefits of having a coach. But go ahead.
Yes. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a winning profile. The winning profile you're going to create is going to have 6 photos on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And some of them are going to be just your face with light makeup. For the gentlemen, take your hat off. It's okay to be bald. Shave it. We like a bald man. Okay.
Right.
You take your mask off. COVID, for the most part, is gone. Stop playing. Take off the shades. Let us see your face. So few of those photos, maybe 2 or so, should be just your face. We want 2 to be your physique. So we're not in lingerie. We're not in bathing suits, but we're in fitting clothing so we can see the body. Yes, it matters. And if you're lying to yourself and you say it doesn't matter, guess what? They don't know you to like you for your personality. The only way they're going to like you is based on what you look like initially, and then hopefully there's depth thereafter.
Right.
So about 2 of those, that's full body. And then your last 2 should be action shots. So whatever it is you do, you're a podcaster and you're with the mic in your hand and you're emceeing something, you run half marathons and you're in the middle of your run with your bib on, you read to kids at the library, you're sitting on the rug with the book open, whatever it is, something that paints a picture, because we want to give people an opportunity to say, oh, Karen, I noticed that you host events. I also am a MC, right? And then now there's something that
this conversation
have in common, and you can start a conversation. So 6 photos. The next piece is going to be, you need to be positive Polly, not negative Nathan, not negative Nancy. If you're an F-boy, don't swipe on me. Guess what? The F-boys love it. You've called their name, right? You've spoken it out with your tongue. So now they're going to bother you. They're going to mess with you. And then the good guys that you would like think that you're negative and nasty and jaded, which that's how you're coming across. And then they're going to avoid you. And then you're going to be like, oh, there's only F-boys on the apps. Yeah, you called their name.
Right. That's what
right?
you're appealing to.
You call on to the Lord's going to come. You call on to the F-boys going to come. Okay?
Excellent.
So stop with the negative stuff. You say what you want in a positive way. And then the last piece is going to be to open up your parameters a bit. Okay? Especially for my ladies who are under 5'6". You under 5'6", you don't even
Alison, I'm like 5'1.5".
Right. I had a client who was 5'3". She got to date a guy who's 6 feet. When are you ever going to be taller than him?
Never.
When are you ever going to wear 7-inch heels?
I'm never.
Is this guy? Never. So open up your parameters a bit. I will tell you, if they say that they're 5'10" on the app, they're lying. They're probably 5'7". But I want you to open up your parameters a little bit.
That's crazy. Because if you're 5'1", everybody's taller than you. Everybody.
So, I mean, I don't know. The average woman in America, I think, might be 5'5". Come on. You're 5'6", 5'7". I understand having a higher standard. Even with that, a higher standard. But we need to be more practical. We always talk about Sierra's prayer, her and Russell Westbrook. No, wrong athlete. Russell Wilson, right?
Yeah.
We talk about them. And then with heels on, she's taller than him.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It seems very small in the scheme of what you're looking for in life.
Yes.
It seems very small. Like for me, well, no one's shorter than me, but I feel like you're looking at, I don't know, it just feels very like all the wrong things for me. I don't think someone's height should, unless you're totally like, I don't like small people, then I don't think an inch or two should make or break if this person is compatible and can love you and can give you the things that you want.
Yes,
it seems very superficial.
Yes,
to me.
And they push back. They're arguing with me right now. I'm fitting to make a reel when we're done here talking about this, because that's just who I'm attracted to. And what I say to them, and I don't say it nicely, is I say, well, clearly that has not worked for you. Or you
Alison, somebody said that to me the other day. They were like, you like all the bad boys, and clearly that hasn't worked for you. So what are you going to do different?
What are you going to do different? Right.
You know,
and it's like, oh, well, you're so, Alison, you have to talk to people like that, but they don't hear, they don't listen. And as a West Indian woman, if you don't hear, you feel, right? That's what we're taught. So, hey, I'm going to talk to you in a way that you can appreciate. If you're on this page, there are plenty of happily married couple people who follow me because they think I'm funny. They think that this is funny, right? But there are majority who don't. 70,000 people, majority of them don't, right? So you're looking for dating and relationship advice. I give it to you and you say no. Well, guess what? If you had the answer,
and I wouldn't be here. So let's get into that, because that's my next question. Who is your ideal candidate? So let me start by saying this. I am a big advocate for people asking for help when they need it. And after running a business for the last 3 years and managing 3 kids, I've also at a place in my life where I understand the areas where I need help, and I'm very good at delegating, right? And I say that to say that a dating coach is here in front of us, and the same way you need help to fix something in your house, or you need someone to talk to, or you call in the long guy, or whatever the case may be, you might need somebody to be there as your help and your guidance as your coach to support you through this process. And so, Alison, I want you to talk about what some of the benefits are of a dating coach and what people can get out of it so that they understand the value of working with a coach to be successful if this is something they really want in their life.
Yeah. So what I do with folks, and I'm sure that they can tell that, like, damn, this lady's rough, but it's because I want you to win, right? And what happens many times is that people are the ones that are holding back themselves. It's not that the pool is full of pee, it's that you believe that the pool is full of pee, so you're never getting in it in the first place, right? Or you have one negative experience, and that's supposed to be a representation of all negative experiences. I just put up a post, and it's a quote from Usain Bolt. And he says, I've run 4 years. I've practiced for 4 years so I could run for 9 seconds. Right? So this idea that you're supposed to get it right the first time, and if I have a negative experience once and oh my God, woe is me, I can never do this again, is some of the negative thinking patterns and the limited beliefs that a coach is going to help you to undo. And that's why I undo it with realism. There are other coaches that will undo it with love. And it's okay. And there's the right client for that one. I'm the rough back one. I'm the hard back West Indian. And that's the kind of people I need, the ones who know they need fire under their behind in order for them to move, that they know sweetness and kindness is not going to get them to change their behavior. Right.
Right.
So challenging those limited beliefs is something that a dating and relationship coach should be doing with you and for you so that you change your patterns. Number two, what I would do for you, and any coach who's worth their salt is going to be teaching you specifically what questions to ask and what behaviors to be paying attention to as they navigate dating. Number three, any coach who's worth their salt is going to tell you which dating apps are the right ones for you and create a winning dating profile with you. Number four, are we up to?
Mm-hmm.
A winning dating, any dating coach who's worth their salt is going to tell you where specifically to find events in your city that you can attend so that you're meeting the quote unquote right types of people for you. That's why I say quote
Right.
unquote, because again, I come from the belief that men is good. So the right types of for you. They're going to be teaching you how to find those places in your city. And then the last piece, which I think is really special about the work that I do, because I'm a dating and relationship coach, is how to build a healthy relationship moving forward. So it's not only have a pretty profile, know where to go to grab a drink, meet a nice guy, and au revoir, right? Then it's how do you build the foundation of a healthy relationship moving forward? Because if you're the one who sabotages over and over again, you're going to meet a whole bunch of great guys and you're going to ruin it for yourself. So it's
Right.
not just meeting great people who meet your requirements, but it's also building, because relationships are both parties plus the world. And you
Right.
can leave the world out, and that's impractical. We live in a globalized society. You can't leave the world out. The culture, social media influences are always going to have an impact on our lives, our friends, our family. So how do you navigate all that so that you're building the foundation of a healthy relationship moving forward?
I love that. I feel like that's so much information, but that's why you're a dating coach and you do that. My next question is pretty simple. Like, what's the craziest dating story you've heard?
Ooh, from my practice or overall?
Overall.
Okay. I just actually just read this online like 2 days ago of a woman who was sharing her testimonial. She was being stalked by someone, a guy, and he would text her, I see you, you're going to Target and I see you in this aisle and I'm going to get you, and stalkerish language, right?
Wow.
So much so that she was dating this guy and she rushed into things. She moved in with him because she was afraid for, her own safety.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw you came in at 7 o'clock and, whatever kind of stalker type stuff. She moved in with the guy. The relationship wasn't going well. She started to suspect some like infidelity. She went through his phone and realized that he was the stalker the whole time.
What?
Yes. And he was purposely doing those behaviors to force her or to make her feel pressured into moving in with him, relying on him so that
That's
he
so
could be her
mean.
white knight. Yep.
I think I would fight. I think that's reasonable. I don't understand how you could do that to somebody you care about.
Yep. Terrorize this poor girl.
I
And
don't
he was the
understand
one.
that. I feel like he need therapy. Like
Absolutely.
you need to work on yourself, sir, because you're that insecure. Let's talk about going through the phones. Well, before we get to the phones, so let's just say I go on a date.
Yes.
After the date, I text and I say thank you. I had a really good time, because I text everybody after I get home, just because that's the right thing to do.
Yes.
How long are you waiting? Am I waiting for him to text, or am I texting next? And how long am I waiting for that?
I don't believe in waiting. I think that purposely waiting, not you got home and then your son needed help with the science project that's due in 12 hours. He never told you about it, right? Like actually purposely, I am not going to send a message that's to me playing games. I don't believe in waiting. I believe in saying what you want to say, doing what you want to do, taking action, being direct. Evidence, right? Exhibit A. So what I would say is once you reach home and you want to let the person know that you're safe and you want to thank them for the date, you thank them for the date. And in that same breath, you say, if it's the truth, I'd like to do this again. You put it out there from the beginning.
Right.
Reciprocity is important. And what's one of the things that we're missing is that the ladies are giving mixed messages. The ladies are saying that we want guys who are more emotionally available. But at the same time, we are saying, oh, they're men, and so we don't need to compliment them. We don't need to give reciprocity. They need to call us first. They need to put themselves out. They need to do all the risky, like emotionally risky behavior, right? But then that's not reasonable. So which one do you want? Do you want what we used to have, which I don't want, right? The toxic masculinity piece, or do we want someone who's more emotionally available? And if so, that means we have to meet them where they are. So we're not playing games. We're not waiting around. We're not requiring that they have to be the one who does everything first. We're going to say, hey, I had a great time. I hope you did as well. And I'm really looking forward to us getting together again. Now you've put the ball back in his court too. Yes, to now ask you, but you're letting him know that you enjoyed his company, that he was, enjoyable, and that you want to do it again.
Okay, so I love that. And I'm very good at stuff like that. But what happens when I don't want to go back out with him?
Mm-hmm. So if you don't want to go out, and again, like you want to let the person know that you're home safely, you can text them and say, hey, thanks for dinner. Thanks for whatever it was. I'm home safe. Don't lie. Don't say I had a good time if you didn't. And don't ask for or insinuate you want a second date if you don't want one. Then you can wait for them to ask you. Hopefully they had a terrible time just like you did. Hopefully they picked up that there was no connection, or there was, and they don't ask you, and then you don't have to put anyone down. If he does ask again, now I think the right thing to do is not to ghost and to respond. And then you say, oh, well, Karen, I had a great time too. I'd love to take you out again. Now is your opportunity to say, well, actually, Jared, there's some things that I'm looking for in a partner that I don't think that we would make a good match, but I do wish you the best moving forward. And press send. Wrap it up right then and there. Don't stretch it out. Don't elongate it. Now, that's if you're confident about how it was clear and evident. This guy catfished you. He is not the man who was in the photos. He told you he had one child, and then you found out that he had 4. Like, things that are outrageous, undeniable, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a little awkward, go on the second date, man. Go on the second date. See if things can change a little bit. He was nervous because you were so pretty, and he didn't expect you to look the way you looked in your photos. He was nervous because this is his first date since his divorce, and he hasn't been with a woman in 6 months. Whatever that might look like, go on the second date. If it's obvious, okay. If it's not, give the person a second shake.
Love it. I thank you for that. Okay, one more question. So after you get into this relationship and you're dating, you get married, you have children, how do you maintain this healthy relationship?
Mm-hmm. So vacations.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised. I literally just came off of a plane 12 hours ago from vacation, vacationing with the children and away from the children. Now that would require a support system, right? Everybody doesn't have it. If you're in a position to do so, if grandma, if auntie, if uncle, if someone can step in and help, then please leave them kids. They will be all right. And you need to spend that time to reconnect where there are no bills, there is no conversation about the roof, and then you're just having that quality, intimate time with your partner. So if you're in a position to take that vacation, you can afford it without the kids, please do so. Scheduled date nights. Put them in your calendar. They should be on your planner. You should make it happen. If you are in a financial position to do so, drop the kids somewhere, get a date. I don't know what you got to do, and go on that date, even if it's a low budget date. Again, the quality alone time, and really make an effort not to talk about the kids.
Yeah.
Really make an effort not to talk. I have a 7-month-old, so we're enamored. Like that's a little bit hard of a break to make, right? Like everything is wow and special and magical in the first time. Like she gave us a closed mouth kiss for the first time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like nowadays, if she was 7, we wouldn't care about that. So I get it. But when they're older, like try your best not to talk about the kids and let it just be the two of you. My last piece of advice, which may not be very popular, but I know a lot of the professional sexologists are talking about it. Schedule sex. I know it doesn't sound sexy, but you're better off scheduling sex than not having it at all.
Right.
Then you could work on when the kids are older, kicking them out, making that space and time for it to be
spontaneous,
whenever, wherever, right? And spontaneous, exactly. But in the meantime, in between time, get your rocks off and at least make sure that that is not a conflict that is in your marriage. Let it be anything else. Don't let it be sex.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to let you go soon because I know I'm running out of time. But what are some things that men need to know when it comes to dating women and as well as coaching?
Yes. One thing that men need to know is that your dating profile goes far. And if you are not taking 5 minutes to write and fill in some blanks and some question and answers and some bio, then I am advising everyone. I got 70,000 followers and 69,000 of them are women, and it's growing every day. I'm telling them to swipe past you. I'm telling them swipe past you, because if you can't spend a few minutes looking for writing something of value, then that's a problem. So number one, write something of value on your profile. Number two, stop asking to go to her house and stop inviting her to your house. You are thirsty. We know that. However, coming across thirsty is going to get you rejected each and every time. Hold your penis in your pants and stop begging people to come to your house or go to theirs. Stop suggesting it. It's corny. You're more inclined to get the result that you want eventually, to get the sex that you probably want by not asking versus you asking.
Yeah, I'm creeped out by people that are like, just come to my house. I'm like, I don't know you like that. So I don't know where you're from that it's okay to do that, but I don't really I don't subscribe to that. Yeah. All right. So Alison, where can people find you if they're looking for you and they want to have you as a coach?
Yes. So you can go to bookalison.com, bookalison.com for all of my free resources, as well as the opportunity to book a session or consult to work with me.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So you can go to bookalison.com, bookalison.com, so that you can check out my free resources, as well as you can join my private community. You can book a consultation call, all that good stuff. And then I have two websites. I also have alignwithalison.com. That really just gives the background on who I am and what I do. If you're ready to take action, bookalison.com.
I love it. I love it. Where can people follow you on social media? Is it just Align with Alison?
Yes, Align with Alison. Thank you. ALIGN with Alison, 1L, ALISON.com. Oh, not .com, but Align with Alison, which is on everything. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Everything.
Yeah, I love it. I love how you come on IG and you just go live and you're dropping gems for people to tune in and listen. So if you guys have not listened to Alison so far, you can actually go on her IG, because that's how I found her. And she's just there having conversations and talking to people and sharing information, which might be valuable to you. You know, sometimes somebody else's story can give you an idea or remove a stigma that you might be thinking. And so it's really important to kind of absorb as much information as you can if this is something that you want to do.
Yeah.
I love it, Alison. So what's next for Align with Alison?
So I'm actually planning, I haven't publicized this yet. It's not coming out till Friday, but I'm actually planning a retreat, a women's retreat for single women, married, engaged, whoever's that's got to be a lady. And it's going to be in Montego Bay, Jamaica, October 6th through the 10th.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, and you are formally invited. Please check it out.
We're going to talk about it, because I just posted that I was manifesting a retreat. Go to my Instagram, you'll see. I was manifesting a retreat. It's just for women. I put up a post about soft girl season and women feeling like, we need to unclench our jaw and put down our shoulders. And you're a New Yorker, getting the 6 train early in the morning forces you to have this very hard exterior.
Yes.
And I just don't want to be like that in my life anymore. So it was like soft life retreat that I'm planning. So we'll definitely talk about it, because I have some women interested in something like that.
Oh, yes. And if you need any help, please let me know. I would be more than happy to give you what I've learned thus far. I'm still new in the game. I've been putting together for a month now. I released it to my list for weeks. I wanted them to snatch up the seats first. And I have a couple more left. So I'm going to be releasing it to the masses on Friday. But yeah, so we're going to Jamaica October 6th to the 10th. That's Columbus weekend. And that is the Ready, Set, Love retreat. That's for anyone who wants to reconnect with their inner love and inner self, as well as either position themselves on the dating scene or to connect with their current partner. So Ready, Set, Love retreat. And that is October 6th to the 10th in Montego Bay, Jamaica.
Oh my gosh, Alison, I love it. I think that's such a beautiful opportunity also for women to build sisterhood and confidence with each other and share stories and kind of understand you're not out there by yourself, and a lot of good, interesting stuff. So thank you so much for sharing all of this wisdom with us and all of this good energy. I can't wait for everybody to come and listen to you, and then for me to be in Montego Bay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.